Hi everybody, this is Alchemist2 and I'm back again with another book review. I just recently read Dave Golson's, I almost looked like Colson, Dave Golson's book, A Sting in the Tail, which is about bees in and of themselves and conservation thereof. And I learned quite a bit about our friends, the bumblebee and the honeybee, well, they're different varieties thereof, and species, I should say. There's not just one type of bee. Well, of course there isn't. And he talks about Darwin. He has this funny yarn about Darwin in here that makes me laugh. His angst about bees, poor Darwin. But it's yes, I loathe bees. I never want to be involved with them ever again. They're despicable creatures. I thought, oh man, you were definitely turned off by bees, weren't you, Darwin? But it was just so funny. I never thought that Darwin would have been upset by something like that, but apparently he was. And talks about cuckoo bees and how they go into hives and lay their eggs, and they put the queen bee into submission. The queen bee becomes like a worker bee, and they continue the cycle for as long as they can to keep that hive humming. Humming. I made it funny, but sorry, I couldn't help it. I love bees. I can't tell you. I adore these little creatures. They're my friends. I understand them. I don't know why. I just do. I've always had an innate understanding for creatures such as this. I've been stung by a wasp only one time, but these were actually ascended from or descended from wasps. I'm glad they're not like their prehistoric cousins. Thank God. Nothing like that. They're social creatures. They hardly ever sting unless provoked, and I've never been stung by a bee ever, because they understand that I'm not there to harm them in any way. I help them get what they need, like a conservationist does. It talks about how apiaries in and of themselves, beekeepers don't realize that their colonies have a tendency to rule out other colonies, and they don't mean to. They tend to be the helper of the conservationalist. He said he's gotten in quite a bit of trouble for for saying the things that he has, and he can't help it because it is what it is. It's truth. The truth can be black and white. He's also a founder of the Conservation Trust, which I'm glad he's done. And hopefully he can reintroduce a lot of species, but not in New Zealand or Australia, because he learned the hard way that you don't introduce a non-native species into somewhere else that they're completely unaware or not familiar with. The indigenous population will be wiped out. Well, they have that problem with the boars in, I think it was Australia, maybe New Zealand. Excuse me, I don't know if I'm right on this or not, because I think it was New Zealand, but the boars, they're running out the other indigenous species. It was this book is fascinating. It really is. I know it looks like it wouldn't be, but it is. It is very, very, very fascinating. If you're into entomology, I would definitely recommend it. I love the honeybee. If you're into honeybees like I am, and you want to understand why they're so important to our society and how they keep our society running, then definitely pick it up and read it. It gives you a whole lot more appreciation, and it tells you where food is actually coming from. A lot of the ketchup that we have comes from the Netherlands, which I knew. I don't know how I remember that. And then tomatoes pollinated somewhere in Spain, I do believe. Perhaps maybe it wasn't Spain. Maybe it was Turkey. I know that it was someplace in Turkey. It's like Turkey or Spain. I don't remember either. But it's just a whole propensity of connections, interconnectivity, of how you got to have the bees to have the flowers, because the bees are the ones that are responsible for pollinating the flowers. Because if the flowers can't pollinate themselves, and if the flowers are asexual and pollinate themselves, then you get weird results. I mean, really strange, bizarro results. So it's better if a bee pollinates the flower for you than a flower pollinating itself. It's actually rather complicated. Same thing with bees in and of themselves, how they mate and whatnot. And she actually explained how bumblebees, they die when they mate, and I thought, oh, those poor bumblebees, their genitals explode and all that, and it was when well, they seal off the mating orifice with a female, so she can't. Well, the female actually restores sperm, but anyway, there's a lot involved with the whole mating game, and I felt so sorry for the poor bumblebee in his quest, because he dies in in his conquest of mating. He dies, and there are a lot of other males that die, and because the other males will come and they'll scrape off the remaining goo that's left, and they mate with that female, that virgin queen. No, not so much virgin queen anymore. Anyway, sorry to go off rambling, but it's just, there's so much information in this. It's more like a reference book than anything else, but it gave me a whole new respect for bees, and I found it absolutely breathtakingly good. Short book, and you learn quite a bit from it. Actually, it's very educational. So if you have a chance to look it up, do it, because it's well worth it. And this Dave Golson, I love his sense of humor. He's right up my alley. I think if I had him for a professor, I would just love him to death, because he has my sense of humor and I can relate to that. So until next time, bye.